This is our round bale logistics simulator. So this tool was designed to find the breaking point between traditional way of transporting round bales, so using flat trailer or pull type trailer or wagon as a one-man operation, compare with two-man. So that means one tractor with a front-end loader loading the platform and another operator hauling the platform back and forth from the field. Compare with three model of the Anderson round bale mover, so the RBM 1000, RBM 1400, and RBM 2000. So how it works, pretty simple. So you first select if you want to work in metric or imperial. For the purpose of today's demonstration, I'm going to work in imperial. The second selection you have to do is according to the size of your bale chamber. So most baler, they either produce a 48-inch wide bale or a 60-inch wide bale. So you can switch just by clicking on the toggle. If you select 60 inches, you will notice like the RBM 1000 can carry 10 bales of 48 inches wide, and then if you click on the 60 inches, then it's going down to 8 bale. Same for the RBM 14, which normally carries 14, now it's going to carry only 12, and the RBM 2000, which can carry 20 bale of 48 inch, will now be going down to 17 bale per trip. So that's the first setting. The second setting you have to decide, or is basically you're gonna type in how many bale do you transport actually with your hauling setup. Is it 20 bales per trip? Is it 16 bale? I don't need to know how many bales per platform. This is really per trip. So if you pull two wagon back to back and you hold 10 per wagon, that's 20. If you go with one wagon and you load it a little bit more, it could be 14 bales per trip, so that's up to you to decide. Here you have the average fill distance. So you play that this is basically average distance from the field to the farm where you transport the bale. Here you put how many bales. Again, you play with a slider, and then you can increase, decrease the amount of bales annually that you carry, the labor rate, and then the fuel cost. Because we're in imperial, it is in dollar per gallon, but if you go in metric, it's going to be in dollar per liter, and so on. The other setting, you need to set up the transport speed for your typical way or traditional way of moving bales. So if you're using pull type platform like on these two first scenario, they are more snaky on the high speed, so normally at 16 mile an hour, that's pretty much it. If we go with the Anderson self-loading round bale mover, the RBM series, as we only have one axle underneath, it's much more stable on the road, so normally it's not rare to see up to 25 mile per hour traveling speed between field to farm. At the bottom here, this is what's important. So you need to type in how many horsepower do you use if you load and hold the bale with one tractor, how many horsepower you have right now. If you're running with two tractors, so one for loading the bales to the platform, the other one which gonna basically follow the loader into the field with the platform and waiting to be loaded, you can change the horsepower here. And here 125, 150, 175 horsepower, these are recommended horsepower for RBM. Again, we assume that you're going to be doing baleage, not dry hay. That's why the horsepower is might a little bit higher. And the last row will be the capital cost for all these hauling setup. So the tractor capital cost is not considered. We only consider the depreciation of the hauling equipment, and we add up to that basically the fuel and labor required for each setup. So that being said, once you have that all set up, you have on the overview pane right here, you have 5 cards. So the one-man operation traditional way, two-man operation, so 2 tractors with a typical platform, and then the 3 RBM. You get for each card how many hours per season is going to take with a typical setup and typical speed and distance and so on, and the amount of bells. So if I add bells or remove it, the amount of hours is going to change. You have your operating cost per bell, so that is labor and fuel only, and then you have the ownership, which is the cost of the equipment, the hauling equipment, divided by 20 years divided by 1,000 bells a year. This is how we came down to the ownership cost per bell. So this tool basically help you to see what impact it could be on your farm. Most people, even if it's not the most economical, work with a two tractor and platform setup just because it just takes so long to do it all by yourself. So you have to keep in mind that when you run with two tractor and a hauling platform back and forth from the field to the farm, there is a lot of inefficiencies. You know, every time you're going to the field, you're two tractor or two men driving, and it's not efficient. When you come back, same thing again. So the most economical way most of the time is one man operation with platform, but then it takes a lot of times. And so basically I want to show you how beneficial RBM could be for your operation. So you got here, and you have the same figure on top. So you have your cost per bale, so that is variable cost or operating cost plus ownership cost. You have, which is quite interesting, how many hours a season is going to take you to move these 1,000 bales. Let's say set it up to 2,000. So 75 hours with 1 minute operation when platform 64. And then as you could see, as we go on the RBM and increase the amount of bale we can carry, you reduce drastically the amount of hour invested each season into moving these bales. And you have at the bottom the throughput, so how many bales each setup can move within an hour. You have on the second pane the cost detail, so you're going to see for each of these scenarios, if I move for example the field distance, all the numbers change live. So basically your travel to field time right now is 9.1 minute. If I slide it up, it's going down. So it's really interactive and help you understand where you can make adjustment to your actual setup. The final one will be the breaking point. So this will basically show you from which distance, according, let's say we have 2,000 bales here set up on the input on the left side panel. So you have basically a resume like from 0.1 up to 3.2 miles. The RBM 1000 is the most economical trailer. From 3.4 miles to 3.8, the RBM 1400, and then from 4 miles and above, the RBM 2000 will be the cheapest option for you based on the input put on the left hand side. Of course, if you change any of these input, the result is going to change. The goal is not to say Anderson is a better option. In any cases, Anderson RBM trailer will always be faster in terms of speed, but what's matter, it's really how much does it cost versus your actual system, so you can make a wise decision. Hope you enjoyed this video and have fun playing with it.